Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. We're going to look at these 4 books by Jack Moorman and the incredible information in these. Now, I've got these in much older editions, like I guess from the Dean Burgon Society meetings or something, or Bible for Today. You know, they're just kind of like, so when they came out in these editions, I really like them, but they did come out in 4 different. Now, one reason I just purchased these recently is because it looks to me like they're becoming very difficult to find. So, Jack Moorman went to Indiana Bible College, but it's not the Indiana Bible College I'm at, it's actually another one. And Fort Pierce Faith Baptist Church. So this is Early Church Fathers and the Authorized Version. Just amazing amounts of information in here. Because what this does, there is a school of thought in textual criticism that nobody before 325 AD ever quoted from a King James Version text. But it becomes circular logic because there's actually many hundreds and even thousands of scriptures done that correspond with the King James Version text. And Dean Burgon went and collated like 80,000 plus of these. But it becomes circular logic. They'd say, well, it just seems to be from the King James text because none of them do. But he shows quite conclusively that they do. So like Textus Receptus, we're looking at Origen of Alexandria and Caesarea. Okay, so 31 quotations from 5 works cited in the digest, and he talks about what digest this is. And of the Textus Receptus, 18 would be King James reading or Textus Receptus, and Aleph B readings or minority text readings or whatever you'd want to call them, Alexandrian text readings, would be 13. Polycarp of Smyrna, in his epistle to the Philippians, 4 Textus Receptus, 1 Aleph B. The life and passion of Cyprian, bishop and martyr, Textus Receptus 1, Aleph B 0. Tatian, who did the Diatessaron about 170 AD, which is fascinating. I really want to do a video on the Diatessaron. But the Arabic text, Textus Receptus 66, Aleph and B 11. Tertullian, 36 Textus Receptus, 8 from Aleph and B. So you can see that it is just a falsity to say that it was not quoted in early writings. And I may do a separate video on each of these, but we're going to go through all 4 really quick. A closer look at early manuscripts and the Authorized Version. I have read through this many times. This is one of my big things. And so it's the different, there's over 8,000 differences in the Greek text between the Textus Receptus and the Nestle's Aland text. But then even within that, the Sinaiticus, Vaticanus, and Alexandrinus don't agree amongst themselves several thousands of times. And so there's really no one Alexandrian text per se. But what this does is it gives, I'll just let you look, and he defines what all these are, whether they're uncials or minuscules or lectionaries or papyri or early church fathers. So he just gives the evidence for each disputed reading. And again, he shows that in almost every case that there is enormous amounts of evidence. And this is really a book that, judging by the comments we get on YouTube, that people are looking for on all sides of the spectrum. And I think that the evidence is just so contrary to what we're commonly taught that it kind of catches people off guard. And I've got Phil Comfort's books. I've done reviews on at least one, maybe more, the papyri evidence, and some of the statements he makes in there are just contrary to the evidence that I can find. So I want to stick with the truth. Not to demean Phil Comfort in any way. He's probably a great scholar, but sometimes we just repeat what we're told. Okay, when the KJV departs from the majority text of Hodge and Farstad by Jack Moorman. Some people have said there's actually a refutation of this, but I don't know, this is pretty conclusive. Moorman is probably a terrible debater. He's got a video out where he and James White is what I would call a number one debater, where whether he's debating atheist, Islamics, whoever he's debating, even if he's wrong, he's so phenomenal of a debater, you're going to think he's right. And he pretty much just chops and dices Moorman, an apostolic friend of mine, and I call every apostolic a friend of mine, even if I don't know them that well, has a debate from down under with White, and I think White really got the best of him, unfortunately. But it wasn't because my friend didn't have the truth. It's just that White is very learned in very many things. So this is an excellent, excellent tool as well. And then Missing in Modern Bibles, an analysis of the NIV, which, again, if we do an individual, I can go into, review of each of these books. I can go into further elucidations of what all these numbers mean. But probably the definitive book on that is by Chick Sillaby, who has a great book on the NIV and the King James. I think it's called If the Foundations Be Destroyed. I'm not real sure right now, but I remember his name, Chick Sillaby, not Jack Chick, who had a New York Times obituary when he died because he had distributed 900 million tracts. And even the New York Times acknowledged that. He's very controversial. So Missing in Modern Bibles. Now, I got these from AV Publications. You may be able to get them from other places. But valuable tools, regardless of what side of the researches you're on. And extremely well done. Let me just put that out there as well. Extremely well done. But the insides look really just like the old editions that I've got floating around somewhere. And he's got a great, I think it's him, that every place, he documents every place where the texts are receptive and the majority text. And I've done a review on that. It's somewhere on our channel, 8,000 places where the majority text and the Alexandrian text depart. So God bless. Just live for Jesus. Love truth. Live for God. Talk with you later in Jesus' name.